Hey, what's going on there, everybody? This is Sammy Leggett here representing TeamJVS, here to give you guys another review straight from Tiff 2024. I'm talking about Megalopolis. This is Francis Ford Coppola. If you have never seen Apocalypse Now, if you've never seen The Godfather, if you've never seen, I don't know, what's another one? Rainmaker, The Outsiders, the list goes on and on. He is a masterful director. I think his first film was like in 1962 or something like that, and he is still trucking. I had the opportunity to be able to actually even see him at TIFF, which was amazing. This is a all-star cast. You got Adam Driver, Shia LaBeouf, Natalie Emmanuel, Aubrey Plaza. The list keeps going. Got Giancarlo Esposito, Dustin Hoffman, John Voight. Like, it's a huge cast, right? The basis of the film, it has a person named Caesar, and Caesar is played by Adam Driver. Caesar is a man that is a visionary, and he has a specific gift, and the gift is coming at the perfect opportune time. But just because you have a gift doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for everyone. It's kind of like this bits of different other mediums that I can kind of describe. I mean, there's this relationship between Adam Driver and Shia LaBeouf's character that kind of feels more like a Romeo and Juliet cousin situation. The relationship with Adam Driver and Natalie Emmanuel's character, Julia also kind of is very gifted. It kind of reminded me of like this, I ain't gonna say like Save the Last Dance kind of thing, where like she's being empowered and being lifted up because of who he is, and it's also making him a better person. There's a lot of different story threads in this film, so I will preface it like that to be very blunt and honest. The things that I thought were positives, there were scenes and moments in this film that I felt like were amazingly done. Like, there's this one scene where Caesar's vision of what the world is supposed to be, where he kind of shows it out on a display, and they do this transition of showing like the vision versus the preparation. I thought that was so well executed. I think there's a scene that happens with Shia LaBeouf like midway during the film where he kind of has this existential crisis moment, and it kind of just breaks down. You can tell it was directed really well, and they allow Shia to kind of just push, right? There are moments that I felt like looked really good and were acted really good. Unfortunately, there are also moments where it feels very disjointed. Unfortunately, the thing that suffers the most in this film is the editing. A lot of different scenes. Like, you have one scene where it's like capturing something that's somebody's viewpoint, and then another scene that's supposed to be the same exact subset, it looks like it feels like it's green screen, or it doesn't look like it's the same quality, or it's grainy, or it's just kind of like feels like there are gaps missing between like the dialogue that's happening, and it feels like it's just being chopped up quite a bit. And I don't know if there's things have been cut out of the film, or the film looked very different, or is a lot more raw. And again, there are moments where it's nudity and sex scenes and extra stuff in this, and it feels a bit pushed at times, and it doesn't help out for the pacing when that happens. Like, there are moments where it just kind of feels like this is for a shock value kind of moment versus like something palatable. The other thing is that you got Lawrence Fishburne as the narrator, which is amazing to have Lawrence Fishburne as a narrator in general, just based off of his voice alone. But when they transition from act to act, it kind of feels like it feels like at moments like it feels like a satire, and in the other moments it feels like it's a play. And I don't know what they're trying to really go for. I would say that there feels like there are other people other than Francis that are behind the camera and projecting how they want this story or stories to kind of go and flow. And unfortunately, I don't know if there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, but if it's not, either way, it feels very disjointed, edited very choppy, and it doesn't help the narrative. The narrative ultimately, by the end of it, is very plain, but it's more of a emotional elevation of characters. Characters are, you know, fixated on one set thing versus looking at the bigger picture, or somebody is looking at the better picture so much that they're not looking at humanity. And that is the simplest aspect of the film. Like that is what at the core what he's trying to establish. But I think that misses the mark based on the tracing, based on the editing, based on how things are processed, based on your even capability or willingness to go and continue to watch. Unfortunately, because it is so disjointed, it makes it a very hard watch. You can still appreciate things. I think that Shia LaBeouf's character is one of the best characters in this one. I think that he wasn't marketed well, but I think, shines through in this one. I think that Adam Driver does an amazing job, but there are moments where I just don't feel anything for him. I'm not connected to him. I am very much so more connected to Natalie Emmanuel and Giancarlo Esposito's characters. Giancarlo Esposito specifically based on his issues with the character Caesar is more palatable. Aubrey Plaza is, oh man, she is crushing it. Regardless of, you know, the setup or the dialogue, the way they kind of project her, she just is lighting up the screen every time she's up there, more so than other people. Dustin Hoffman's character really doesn't do much, and I think he's kind of underutilized. But I do think that the shining stars in this is Giancarlo Esposito, Aubrey Plaza, and Shia LaBeouf absolutely for this movie. But what would I rate this film? I would rate this film between a 5.5 and a 6 out of 10. I'm leaning more towards 5.5 only because I feel like by the end of the film, I asked myself, would this be something I would rewatch, or this is something I just had to watch because this is from the amazing Francis Ford Coppola. And right now I'm leaning more towards the latter, but maybe after watching it again, you know, I will get something more out of it. But that is my specific review note for Megalopolis. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my review. Make sure you like, subscribe to the bell button. I've got a lot more content coming from Tiff 2024. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much, guys. Peace.